Okay, so starting with the veins that are more caudal, on the right side underneath the lung here, you'll see the azygos coming off of the cranial vena cava here, and it's coming from, or going to the heart, to the right atrium specifically. So cranial vena cava, the caudal one you saw under here, running next to the phrenic nerve that supplied the diaphragm. And the diaphragm also has phrenic veins that drain it. They're really, really small, so that would be more like a question. The arteries that supply it are the phrenic arteries, so it all goes along with each other, the names of them. And so after you have the cranial vena cava, you have the two branches here that branch off, and this would be the right and then the left brachiocephalic from there. The one that you saw that was here that got chopped off that went to the sternum, you can either call it sternal or internal thoracic vein. And then here you could see the external jugular. The internal was here, it's been kind of broke off. And then it had the bijugular trunk where they two branch off from each other. Running with the external jugular, you have the common carotid artery, which is the big pink one, and you have the vagus nerve. So on the exam, they'll probably be pinned together, and I would ask you maybe for the artery, maybe for the vein, and maybe for the nerve. And then from there, you also have the superficial cervical, there, coming off the external jugular. And then coming off of the subclavian, you have the subscapular, which will go to the scapula right here, and you could just follow it to the scapula, which is right here. And then from there, it's no longer called the subclavian, it's called the axillary, which branches into the cephalic vein, and then the brachial. And brachial just means it goes to the brachium, which is here, so it just continues. And then you could see next to the brachial vein, you could see the brachial artery. Next to the axillary vein, you could see the axial artery. Next to the cephalic, very, very small, you could see the cephalic artery. Next to the subscapular vein, you could see the subscapular artery under there. So all of those after the subclavian pretty much run together with one another. And then for the arteries, here is the aorta, the descending branch of it that goes into the abdominal cavity. This would be the ascending part of the aorta. You have the big vessel that is more to the right side. That's the brachiocephalic. And then you have the left subclavian here. So it's a little bit different, being that there's no left brachiocephalic. It's only left subclavian, which continues up and then ultimately becomes the axillary and then the brachial there. So that's important to note. Whereas on the right side, you have the brachiocephalic. Underneath here, you would see that it branches into the left common carotid and then the right common carotid, and then it also branches into the right subclavian, which is underneath the vein here. You can't see it. And then after that, everything would run together. So the brachial, all of those would run together. It would be the same as it is on this side. And that's pretty much it.